Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, SpiderWoman issue number 8. This was a good issue, not a great issue, a good issue. I'm going to get into why there was a lull, but not the standard lull that we're expecting from most of the time when I say there's a lull in this issue. There's a down issue. It'll go into another. It's a little bit different. I'm going to explain all that first. Credit where credit's due. So, Carla Pacheco, I'm pronouncing it right now. she like literally did an interview with me just to tell me how to pronounce her name. I'm joking. That's not why she go check out that interview. She's an amazing, wonderful human being. But Carla Pacheco did the writing, Perry Perez doing the art, Frank D'Armata doing the colors, and VC's Travis Lanham on letters. Jung-Gun Yoon doing the cover art, and a couple people doing some variant covers. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying, go check out the various covers out there. This issue. Basically, it's Spider-Woman. We start like that very first image of her just like breaking through the glass. It is insane because this is stuff that was technically supposed to hold the Hulk. Now, Pacheco explains it that no, it was meant to hold the Hulk, but it's also something that she got from Tony Stark off of a garage sale. Why does Tony Stark do garage sales? Indicating it probably doesn't come from Tony Stark. And at the very least, if we're just going to take a purely humorous tone with it, then he was just getting rid of it because he's like, yeah, this isn't going to hold the Hulk. So we don't know how strong she is right now with that serum, but we do know that she's on a serious freaking adrenal explosion right now. She, however, is stopped, but by words, which is actually pretty impressive, and it doesn't take much. You see, her arch nemesis shows up in this, her new arch nemesis, and what do you call it? Anyway, she says, "Hey, listen, I need you to take this, otherwise you're gonna die." And immediately, Jess takes it, shoves it right into her freaking neck, and that alone is the proof that she's lost it, completely lost it. Why should I trust you? Well, you just trusted me to jam something in your neck without without even asking for an explanation as to what it is. You just did it. Can we acknowledge that your decision-making skills aren't really good right now? And then what does she do? She gets talked into robbing from Tony Stark, beating up Hydra, which I mean, it shouldn't take much on anybody's part to be convinced to beat up Hydra, but right on the front cover, she goes in and she steals from Tony Stark. Now, what I liked about this is that we see somebody in Iron Man armor on the front, and we see an image of Tony Stark. So this was Jung-Gun Yoon. Dude, freaking kudos to the mans. Because the face shield is down, but it's not down in the interior of the comic book. In the interior, we see it's actually Rhodey. Now, this is where it's a real betrayal, because screwing over Tony Stark is one thing. With all due respect, F Tony Stark. And I don't really mean that. I mean mother F Tony Stark, man. That son of a bitch. But I don't think anybody really says that about Rhodes. Rhodey is, like, he's an extra special kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy who, like, he's going to get emotional. He's going to come out there. He's going to wear his heart on his sleeve, right with his unit patch. But that's actually on the right side because that's what he went to war with. You know what I'm saying? Like, he will wear his heart and his emotions on his sleeve. And he means well all the time. If I know nowadays, because of the movies, it's like Pepper Potts is supposed to be the angel on his right shoulder. But in the comics, that was a lot more Rhodey. In fact, when Tony was drunk, the second time, after Demon in the Bottle, when he went back to drinking, when he's out there boozing it up and he's screwing up and he's potentially killing people, you know what I'm saying? Potentially. Who's the one who took over Iron Man? That was Rhodes. Because that's the kind of person he is. The world still needs an Iron Man, but Tony, it can't be you. Even when Rhodes, I'm building him up for a reason. Even when Rhodes wound up, when he put on that armor, it wasn't cybernetically designed for him. It's funny because the Iron Man 2 novel expressed that it was, but in the comics originally, back in the early 80s, it wasn't. It wasn't actually designed for him. So, it wasn't, the algorithm wasn't redesigned for him in mind. So it actually started driving him crazy. And he didn't need to be put down. He needed to be talked down. And he recognized this isn't me. Because at the end of the day, Rhodey is a good person. He's the kind of person that you want in the military. You know what I'm saying? He's the kind of guy who's not just trying to, I just want to kill people. I just want to go places and kill people. Like, once in a while you do get people like that. I didn't choose to associate with people like that. I associate with people who actually want to do good in the world, or at least, the very least, the people who want to pay for their college tuition. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's better than the alternative. Rhodey is literally one of the best people in the Marvel universe because he cares. And he may be hard edged, but he's also military. That's the way that we are. So when you see somebody doing something rough to Rhodey, it's supposed to mean something. Mind you, if the only way you really know Rhodey is from the movies, you don't know Rhodey. You know what I'm saying? Like, Don Cheadle just doesn't do a good job for Rhodey comic book version. He's literally just 100% a lackey. He's practically a jackass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't like Cheadle's version of Rhodes. I just don't dig it, but it is what it is. In the comic books, however, he's a genuinely likable person, and he's a person who will literally go to bat for you if you need it. So when he's portrayed in this, if this were a TV show or a movie, the moment that he gets the call from Carol, he's like, Jess, why are you here again? That's when the traitor music should start. The epic. I don't know if it's quite on the level of Duel of the Fates, but real talk when I say this, that's when music should actually be played. You know what I'm saying? Heartbreaking music where it's big. There should be a cello or lots of violins going, and it should feel like a true stab in the heart. Because you think about the Carol Danvers comics right now, the Captain Marvel comics, who's always in the comics, right? You're constantly seeing Jess, you're constantly seeing Rhodey, and you see their relationship. You can't you can't get the emotion of this particular betrayal because her betraying Carol, it's heartbreaking, and she said something really messed up. The whole thing about you can't have a baby and stuff like that. That is a messed up thing to say to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things that sting every person, be their gender or their race or their religion, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's always something you can say to burn somebody. That's something that you say. That's not a girl, a woman. That's a messed up thing to say to a human being. In this one, though, like, friends can forgive each other. These two are acquaintances, strong acquaintances, but nonetheless. But this is the kind of stuff where it's like, this person vouched for you. I vouch for you too, but my girlfriend vouches for you. The woman I'm likely to marry vouches for you. And you betray that person. Like, to me, there was nothing else happening in this comic book. All the other stuff, all the funny stuff, with are they mad at me because I betrayed them, or are they mad at you because you betrayed them? Did you betray them? The Hydra thing. We're talking about her. We don't even know you. I don't even know who you are. Well, I betrayed you too. Like, that was all funny, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, but there was nothing more impactful to me than this. You read the Carol Danvers stories right now by Kelly Thompson, and then you read this issue, and you really keep them both in mind right now. Know that these two are talking. Saying, know that the writers are working in synchronicity, which is why I say I would love to one day, whenever they're both ready, I would love to see an event by these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if Spencer and Cates can get together and they can do an event, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying. But, like, this was goddamn heartbreaking to see. This book was a lull because there wasn't that much outside of that really happening here. It was just reclaiming the spiders. Like, okay, We found a way to fix the problem. Now we've got to collect the magical ingredients to fix the problem. Now let's go and we got to fix the problem. That's what happened in here. This was all really just a setup for getting from the point A where they were at to the point B where they need to get. They're right in between, right there. You know what I'm saying? They're the bridge to get to the musical crescendo. That's obviously going to happen in issue 10. Issue 9 probably isn't going to be much of a slouch either. That's probably going to be the big thing with the incredible. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to be this incredible cutoff where it's like, boom, it all hinges and all happens in the next issue. Don't forget the interview that Miss Pacheco gave me, because I didn't ask her for spoilers, but I'm saying she may have dropped 3 big spoilers and then reconfirmed them a couple of times. And you can see in her eyes, she's thinking, are my editors going to be mad at me? Maybe they won't watch this. Oh, man. But that's the way I think this is going to go. So this, by necessity, had to have been an interlude issue. And how did Carla make this an impactful issue? If you know that relationship, you know what she just did. To me, this is like the original Armor Wars. Fuck that second Armor Wars. For the original Armor Wars for Iron Man, when Tony realized that all the good guys and bad guys were stealing his tech, they had forms of his tech, and he had to go in, or he chose to go and reclaim it the way that he did. Captain America, in his own comic, came during that exact same time, came to Tony and said, listen, I need your help. I've given up on working for these. I've not given up on the United States, but I've given up on, just realized what shirt I'm wearing. But I've given up on working for the government, because whenever they talk about, serve your country, what they mean is serve me. I hate politicians, but I still want to protect this country, and I don't want to go the nomad route. So I need you to help me out. I need a shield so that I can still represent. I'll just be the captain in my black uniform, which would eventually go to U.S. Agent John Walker. So Tony gave him a pure adamantium shield, right? The vibranium and steel and unknown catalyst shield, the original Captain America shield, was given to John Walker. But he got a pure adamantium shield, which was heavier and not quite as precise, accurate, but in Captain America's hands, it was more than capable. And at around the same time, that's when Tony turned around and he was like, I need to do these things. And he lied to Cap. And Cap went and confronted him. And rather than explain things, Tony decided to do the stupid thing, and he shot at him and knocked him unconscious. He's like, I want you to know something, Tony. This changes everything. We fought a couple times in the past, usually because you're stupid and you attacked me over dumb things, but in this particular case, this changes everything. Like, that's actually the jumping on point. That's the main thing where whenever there's been Civil War wasn't the primary thing that happened that caused that split and that division between Cap and Tony. They've been fighting ever since the Tales of Suspense, or the Tales of Suspense, was it? I think it was Tales of Suspense, where they were both in it. They fought back then. But this was the one where it was actually where Steve Rogers actually said, dude, you screwed up big time. And that's a lot of how I felt this was. I genuinely hope, like my biggest hope is that now that you've done this, this is the kind of continuity that I like. Now that you've done this, I really want this to last. I want this to last for years. I want it to be that Carol can't be with both of them at the same time anymore. You know what I'm saying? I would love for something like that to be followed up on. Not just a one-time thing, but like a very long-lasting thing. And even when it's reconciled, it's still kind of there, Forgive, sure. Never forget. That's when you get blindsided. This was an amazing issue. Even though, like, story-wise, nothing. But future stories, everything. By the way, the art was pretty cool too. um, hearing, Carla talking about how her boyfriend, Stunt Dick, it's funny stunt. Ah, so hearing that he's a martial artist also, and so is Perry Perez. Like it. I've talked a lot about how great the fight scenes look in the comic book. This was one of them where there was a lot less talking that actually mattered. You could literally ask for a text boxless less, like a wordless um, uh, copy of this. You know what I'm saying? Black and white or color, it doesn't matter. You could ask for it without the word balloons, and this would still play out the exact same way in your mind. If you never knew that there were words spoken, you would still know what was meant by the art in here. And that's something that you have to recognize in Perry Perez. Like this guy doing his fight scenes. I've said this before. Here comes the explanation again. If Bob Salvatore, if Rob R.A. Salvatore, who does the Dritz Duerden novels for Dungeons and Dragons, The Forgotten Realms, brother, if he could draw, this is what he would draw. This is exactly what he would draw. Um, Man, actually, I know that they've put a bunch of those Dritz Duerden books into comic book form. I've read and reviewed several of them. I kind of wish they would get Perez to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows how to make those incredible and sometimes those forceful and sometimes subtle movements that Artemis Entreri and Drizzt Do'Urden would perform against each other. Uh, be great to see that. Genuinely, like I'm thinking about that now. Wow, that would be amazing. Anyway, guys, this was, I mean, especially for a lot by itself, this was an incredible comic book that had so much deep meaning to it. But like when you compound it with the idea that this was story wise technically a throwaway issue, that just makes this even more powerful. Like this was a very impactful issue. I read this and I'm just like, thank God I wasn't in a bad place when I read this. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have our ups, sometimes we have the opposite, you know? This is one of those ones where I've just been like, ah, dude, no, the world sucks and everybody's evil and everybody's trying to stab you in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what this felt like. And it's funny because you could feel on both their sides. And the only person who obviously didn't have any emotion in this, well, she's hanging out with the high evolutionary and 1,000 or so clones of Jess's mom. Yeah, I'm really curious where this is going to go. Did you guys see the next issue cover? That's fussed, Joe. I'm saying it's fussed. Guys, I will talk to all of you later. When does this come out? On sale on the 17th. 3 days after Valentine's Day. 3 days after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is my wife's birthday. Everybody say happy birthday next month for me. All right? To my wife. I'll have her look at the thing and she'll be like, oh. I'll talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.